Good morning, everyone. Let's see who's here first, okay? See, quite a few kids. That's very rare nowadays, BCA Sunday schools. 2 or 3 in the Sunday school department. And some people are in the balcony. I wonder why people like to sit in the balcony. There's a psychological reason, but we'll analyze that later. Okay, I have to keep my remarks short because that's how it's done. Well, think about it, everybody. It took Shinran Shonin, whom we memorialize today, it took him 20 years to understand Shin Buddhism. So do you understand why it's impossible for a minister, in a way, to convey Shin Buddhism in 20 minutes? Do you understand that? If you don't understand that, you always stay on a certain level. I call it Reader's Digest level. But it's all right too. If you really try hard, you can understand in 20 minutes. All right? All right. I'm a little bit off balance because I thought I would talk to kids first, and then general suggestion was just to give one talk. But the things you say to a child and adult are 2 different sermons. So now I'm going to go home. But first of all, I would like to thank Reverend Oshita. He has a great Buddhist name. Do you know what it is? What does that mean? Bombo means something like an unenlightened ordinary man. Not extraordinary, just ordinary. I think it's a great name. Hard to live up to, or live down to, actually. But it's a great name, great name. The reason I brought up Reverend Oshita is I want to thank him. I understand he's going to retire. For many years, that he has invited me to Sacramento Betzing. And this morning I realized how long I've been coming here. I may have come here before Reverend Oshita, but mainly Reverend Oshita. The family who hosted me had their picture of their children. And I remember the children. They were real small and real cute. And I remember exactly what I said. I said, "Your kids are cute." I was looking at the photograph, and now they're all in college. That means I was coming here about 14 years ago. Okay, so anyway, the reason I want to thank Reverend Oshita and other reverends who invite me is, for me, in my scale of values, nothing is more important than understanding the truth. The truth in Buddhism is called Dharma. All right, now I'm going to go into sermon. Hopefully, I wanted to talk to the kids here who got various, what did they get? Huh? Ojus? Okay. Kids who got the ojus, I'm going to talk to you, okay? Okay? Try to remember what I said. It goes like this. More than money, more than toys. Let me put it this way. Where are you the happiest? Are you happiest at church? You have to behave correctly. You can't pick your nose at church, Are you happy at school? School said, don't do that. You see, all you're doing is yawning or something. Where are you the happiest? Kids who got the ojuzus, where are you the happiest? Where you feel really good? Where? At your dentist's office? Open your mouth, I'm going to stick a needle in, Oh, thank you for the needle. You got to be joking. Yeah. Are you happy at the doctor's? Take off your clothes. Everything. Where are you the happiest? Where are you the happiest? Disneyland? No. To get onto a certain ride, you got to stand 2 hours. Do you like to melt in the sun? Where are you the happiest? Hey, kids, wake up. Where are you the happiest? Where are you the where you know you could say anything you want? Where are you the happiest? And, hey, somebody said that. Thank you, somebody. Yeah, somebody said that. You're happiest at home. That's what Shindan Shonin said. Shindan is the founder of our religion. There are other religions. They're all great. Shin Buddhism happens to be the greatest. There's no question in my mind. No, there's no question. I'll tell you why. Well, if I say why, it takes 2 hours. But anyway, everybody, Shindan. Shonin means wise person, enlightened person. Okay? Shindan, your teacher, your mother and father are your teachers, and your school teachers. But a great teacher, meaning absolute teacher, that's too hard a word, is Shindan. Here's what Shindan Shonin said. Kids, listen now, listen. He said, when you understand Shin Buddhism, when you really stay with it, understand it, it's always like being at home. That's what he said. So kids, as you grow up, don't forget that, all right? Let me tell you something else. How many of you kids like money? Oh, see, you kids are so honest. I asked your parents, they're not dishonest, but they want to give the right answer. So when I said, what do you want the most? You know what they said? Nembutsu. But kids are good. I want money. I want money. I want money too, you know. Money is nothing. Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. Earn a lot. You can't say things too early, you know. Okay? But listen, I just checked. There's an actor named Sylvester Stallone. He made a movie called Rocky, boxing movie. He's worth $400 million. Kids, kids going like this. Okay, the young boy who went like this, Sylvester Stallone is worth $400 million. You know what that means? He could spend $1,000 an hour for 50 years. Would you like that? $1,000 for 50 years. He could buy one Porsche a month for 10 years. Or something like that, I forgot. Anyway, $400 million. It's a fabulous amount of money. Ending. Recently he was asked, so you have all this money. Are you happy? Are you happy with $400 million? And you know what he said? Do you know what he said? Yeah. Well, I think you're guessing, the answer. But maybe you're right, eh? He said, no, not too happy. So you weren't happy? And he said, I was only happy 2% of the time. He was happy 98% of the time. Do you know what that shows? Money is good, so make a lot, okay? Then you could do a lot for your parents. You could do a lot for your church, for your country. But it doesn't solve too much. Okay? So you stick with Shin Buddhism. Listen now. You stick with Shin Buddhism all your life. You'll get happier. You're always at home. And when you reach my age, I'm 120. You get ecstatic. Not really, no. No, you get happy. But anyway, kids, stay with Shin Buddhism, okay? And you could study other things like Zen, psychoanalysis. They help. But Shindan's teaching of always being at home is the deepest. And I'll tell you why it's the deepest, and I'll quit for the time being, all right? Here's what he says. Other teachers say, if you understand what I'm saying, you'll be happy. But Shin Buddhism says, if you can't understand what I'm saying, then, wow, that's another hard, difficult idea. Well, what I'm trying to say is, because you don't understand, you're helped more in Shin Buddhism. That's the reason. It's deepest. It's very unusual. Very unusual. All right, that's my talk to the kids. And to the adults, what should I say? All right, I'll talk this way. To the adults, let me ask this question. What's the full name of our religion? Nishi what? Honganji. Sometimes we forget that. What does Hongan mean? What does it mean? You all know, so I don't wait for your answer. Hongan means what? Primal vow. Hey, by the way, the reason I'm always frustrated, and all the reverends are frustrated, is you can't convey religion in words. Religion is a matter of direct experience. Okay? And that is why it's very, very difficult. So primal vow, just a word. So I'm going to try to explain to you what a primal vow is like, okay? And that is why it makes Shin Buddhism deep. Okay, I'll explain it this way. When my wife, when we had our first child, I was still young, 29, not very thoughtful. I think I'm a better husband now. But at that time, my wife is in labor, and I went to her bedside and said, do you mind, this is taking long. Do you mind if I go out in the Hollywood area, that's the hospital area, and have lunch by myself? She said, yeah, go ahead. And I left, thinking, man, this birth thing takes long, And I came back. Then the doctor said, you're the proud parent, you're the proud parent now of a beautiful girl. And I have to admit, I don't get too emotional, but man, I was just tremendous emotion shot through my body. And almost teary-eyed. And then I said, oh yes, I'd like to see the baby. So he said, come here. Dun, 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 dun. Glass window, all the babies lined up. So I thought, wow. Now I was changed man in 1 second. So I looked like this. Beautiful baby. White, long black hair. Didn't quite look Japanese, but still white, beautiful white. And long black hair, long eyelashes, like Elizabeth Taylor, who was famous for her long eyelashes. So I thought, wow, we gotta have more babies, man. And the baby is very calm, and just looking, I said, whoa, wow. Then the nurse went like this. So I said, okay, now you have to shift. So I shifted, and my baby was like, little monkey. I said, I don't want this baby. Then she went like this. You want to carry it? I said, yeah, okay. Another room. So I went to another room, and this is not made up, hey. If it's made up, I'll tell you. This is a myth. This is the way I remember. I have good memory. My wife is carrying the baby like this. And then they're going to give it to me. And she's looking at the baby. And I said this. My wife's name is Sumi. I say, Sumi, let me ask you something. She went, very serene look. I said, Sumi, listen. Is our baby cute? She didn't answer. So I said, Sumi, do you hear me? Because I saw a cute baby, see? So I said, is our baby cute? What do you think she said? You won't guess what she said. No, you mothers could guess what she said. You fathers can't. My wife was very friendly, Well, I'm married to her, so she has to be friendly. But what I mean is, she's very talkative with me. She's quiet, but talkative with me. She went like this. I say, listen, I'm asking you, is she cute? She didn't answer. She always answers. Just the only time she didn't answer me. Do you know why she didn't answer? Do you know why she didn't answer? I tell you why. You mothers know this. She didn't answer because during that time she looked at the baby. She was what they call in Buddhism, establishing a vow. She was vowing. And the vow is this. It's so deep, you don't say it in words. She was saying, don't worry. You're only, say, 5.9 pounds or something small. Don't worry. Don't worry. No matter what happens, I'll raise you in the best way possible. You get it? Don't worry. She doesn't say, you're kind of tiny, so I'll give you tiny love, you know? Don't worry. It's so deep. People who say things like myself, is the baby cute? It's so shallow. It doesn't deserve answer. No question in my mind. You'll never know if these things are correct, but I have no question. I thought, oh, later on I thought, then I thought, how come she doesn't answer? It's a simple question. Is she cute or not? Shall we give it A or B or C or D? Is it an A minus? It looks like a C plus, you know? Okay? That is an example of Amida's vow. Amida's vow is this, something like this. I appeared at with a very well-known Christian theologian. I just met him recently. He's 90 years old now. At some conference. Anyway, his name is Dr. James, John Cobb, very famous theologian. We just met together recently. And somebody asked us something along the line. It's a little off, but along the line of, since we're the only two panelists at UC Berkeley, they asked, what's the difference between, what is Christianity anyway, the essence, and Shin Buddhism? I think Dr. John Cobb said, maybe quoting another theologian. Anyway, the statement that was brought up was, God saves man, although he is beyond salvation. God saves man because he is sinful, because he is evil, because he is beyond salvation. And we don't prepare these talks, you know, so they asked me, what does Shin Buddhism say? So right away I said this, Amida Buddha, Buddha Amida, boundless compassion, boundless wisdom, sustaining power. Here's the difference. Saves man because he is beyond salvation. Did you get the difference? Christianity is saying, and it's not all that. Christianity is a great religion. I wish them well, by the way, in this chaotic world, you know? But what Karl Barth, the great Christian theologian, said this too. God, man, his exact words, Barth's exact words were, man was bad, is bad, and will always be bad. That's the word he used, although he's a famous theologian. He used the word bad. Man was bad, is bad, will always be bad. And yet God saves man. Well, Shin Buddhism, I said this somewhere, and somebody quoted me in a book. So I think it's valid. You don't have to be quoted to be valid. A lot of things that are quoted are false. But anyway, Amida Buddha's compassion. Amida Buddha, by the way, is not this now. See, this is why I'm having difficulty. When I say Amida Buddha, I think you imagine this. This is a symbol, everybody. Like a Seattle bit thing, I said, what does this mean? A young boy said, this means, hurry up and give me your offertory. And if you don't, I'm going to hit you, you know. No. It's a symbol. Amida Buddha is an energy, a force, a power, you see. And that power, according to Shindan, discovered by Shindan, is this. Man was bad, is bad, and will always be bad. That is true. That's true of me. Bad means egocentric. Christianity, and yet God saves man. In Shin Buddhism, man was bad, is bad, will always be bad, and therefore Buddha, Amida Tathagata Buddha saves man. That's quite a difference, huge difference. The Buddha himself, the Shaka Buddha, put it this way. There's 7 children. The 6 are brilliant, 1 is not brilliant. Which one does the mother love the most? And the monks answer, the unbrilliant child. Shaka Buddha says, correct. That's how Buddhism is, you see. All right? So that's one example of vow, and I'll give several others and call it my sermon. A man is drowning in the ocean. And maybe he's a champion swimmer like Michael Phelps, you know. So he's treading water. Maybe I could swim 60 miles to shore, that kind of thing. Okay? That's what you call Zen. Swim, you know, yeah. But Shin Buddhists realize, no matter how much I try, I can't solve everything in life. Small things, order hamburger or hot dogs, that kind of thing. But you can't stop your aging. You can't stop your illness. You can't stop your death. You're trying to protect your loved ones. You can't protect them completely, correct? Things don't go the way you want. We want parents to be solved. Can't solve it alone, you know, that kind of thing. So the Shin Buddhists, in the end, not at the beginning, when you're 16, don't say things like, I give up, not like that. But as you grow more and more mature, and more you encounter life's realities, then you realize, in the end now, or ultimately, you can't resolve everything to perfection, and therefore you start to trust Amida's vow. In terms of the ocean, it sounds like this. The ocean says this. All struggling people who are struggling in the ocean, my vow to you is, just trust me, I will float you. I will float you. Just trust me. So the drowning man, actually, you don't choose to give up, actually. When you really understand yourself, Socrates did in his way, you start to realize there's no other way for me. I have to watch my vocabulary. I don't want to pass away, but you will, okay? And therefore, I can't solve everything, all right? Then you could understand, what shall I say, realize the truth of the ocean's vow. The ocean is saying, Unno, just let go. Just let go. Just trust me. I won't fail you. I don't care what you did, who you are, I'll float you. And as soon as it's instantaneous, in Shin Buddhism they say immediate after, but really, existentially speaking, it's immediate, simultaneous. As soon as you let go, the ocean takes over and floats you. Okay? That's what's called ocean's vow, as an example, Amida's vow. And the other one, two others I'll relate to you. As I was watching a TV show about a nature show, two eaglets, young eagles, they're going to take off on their first flight. And I can't believe it. They're scared. The nest was 1,000 feet up in the air. And these two, they come to the edge, they go, whoa. See, I identify with this because I have one phobia. I'm scared of heights. When we went to Grand Canyon, first time I went, I have to admit I was impressed like everybody. Even my nephews are going, look, let's go to the edge. And they run up maybe a foot away from the edge. And about 10 yards away, oh, beautiful, you know. Okay? And so these two eaglets kind of like this. But in Jodo Shinshu, we explained that scene this way. The eaglet, he cannot go back, correct? Everybody? He can't say, I want the security of the nest where the mother fed me. He can't say that. But he can't just stay still, he'll die. This is Jodo Shinshu. They call it 3 certain deaths. The critical point where you understand faith. You can't go back, but you can't stay still, and you can't go forward either because it's 1,000 feet up in there. They never flew. And you could see them history. Then somehow, due to nature, they heard the heir's vow. The heir's vow to the eaglets is this. Eaglets, listen to me. If you stay there now as you are, you'll die. You can't go back. Just trust me. No matter what you did, what kind of eaglet you are, as soon as you leave, at that instant, I'll sustain you under your wings. The eaglet really has no choice. But you could say they chose. And as soon as they step up, they soared. Okay? And the last example I'll give is the Titanic. I studied the Titanic. The reason I studied it is because life is like the Titanic. There's no question. That was a fabulous boat, by the way. what do you call it, the sink where you wash your face? The marble was imported from Italy. And their central, the room where they dance and so forth, whoa! I was going to print it for you, but too many people, Sacramento visiting. Too many came. But you'll be impressed. It looks like the main hall ballroom of the Waldorf Astoria, that kind. And they had an exercise room. The equipment wasn't too good, but I remember. And then the company that built that Titanic said, you all know, don't you? What did they say? This ship, what? Will never sink. It sank. Okay? The reason it didn't sink, I'm not going to explain. They built the hull in a certain way, no matter where it was hit, they could close it. Okay? But it sank. It gets too long, so I have to shorten it. And by the way, the captain announced, everybody, the boat is sinking, so proceed to the what? Go to the lifeboats. A lot of people didn't believe the captain. That's just like Shin Buddhism and Buddhism. The ship called Titanic is sinking. That's life. The way Buddha put it is, life, monks, is dukkha, suffering, because it is anitya, impermanent. That's how he expounded. But people don't listen, myself included. I went to some church group. They wanted me to go with them, to talk to them in the morning, and they have fun in the afternoon. Went to Ensenada. First time on the trip, so I was very curious and very impressed, by the way. And then, as soon as I got on, they said, everybody go to this room. They're going to teach us how to put on the life vest and so forth, you know. And go what lifeboat to head to. I was astounded. The man is talking, and not one person was listening. I remember that. Gee, that's like a sermon. Not everybody, you know. You know what I mean. You know, me too. When I'm listening, I'm thinking of hamburger or something. All right. So it's not dark, everybody. It's not dark. Yeah, if you're on Titanic, enjoy yourself. But you should have the problem of it sinking solved before you go to the casino. Don't you think so? So you hit the jackpot. It's sinking. The water's up to your knee. And then to say, but I hit the jackpot. It doesn't matter anymore. But I'm a billionaire. It doesn't matter anymore. You could be Donald Trump, you know, with hair floating in the water. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that matters on the Titanic is whether you're on the lifeboat or not. That's the only thing that matters. That is, and in Japanese, by the way, I think, if I recall, I had no time to look it up, I think the word in Japanese is kyumeite, the boat that saves lives. That's a better description than lifeboat. Okay? So Shindan Shonin called Hongan Primal Vow, Gansen, the boat that is a vow, the vow boat, meaning the boat is, that is like the primal vow, you see. So those are the vows you have to understand, all right? And I will say this, although since you're all adults, aside from the kids whom I talk to, until you're about 40 or 50, the great psychoanalyst Jung says correctly, you should pay attention to things like family, good university, good job, good family, and so forth. You should. That is why I hinted to you, there's two different sermons to young people and to the adults. So unfortunately today I couldn't separate them, you know. But to you adults, I'll say this. It's not your fault. What you did was correct. You should have built up a nice family. You should have, had nice grandkids or whatever or not. Doesn't matter. But you should have taken care of your adult life. No question. It's all right. But from this point on, you should expend most of your energies going inward to solve the impermanence of things. You know, how old are you? Let's say you're 70. You send out 10 more Christmas cards and you're finished. Don't send any cards, you know. That's a joke, everybody. Send your cards. But look, and 10 more NFL football season and you're finished. Everybody senses this. That's why they start doing things like when some actor, I won't mention it, he's not here to defend him, he's 80, he married a 27-year-old girl trying to get young, Now you get older, yeah. So solve these things and then enjoy whatever. You have to go to Vegas if you want. That's a separate matter. Okay. The reason I mentioned Vegas is because a lot of Niseis, when the doctors say you have one more place you could go to, your terminal, but you could make one more trip, where do they go? Do they say Sacramento, Bitswing? Maybe you do have a member now, so I was wrong there. But most Niseis, they tell me, the wife said to me, once you recount the experience, my husband was told one more time, and I don't have here's my juice. And then he said, one more chance, I want to go Vegas. This is quite often. The reason I was looking for Jews is this man who said I'm going to Vegas as a last trip went to Japan. It's a little bit different. And he came back and he brought back this ojuzu as a gift. The beads are made out of skulls. That's the difference. To remind me that you too, you give sermons. It's not just you, everybody else. You too, will be leaving this earth, shall I say, pretty soon. And that kind of thing. So everybody, I think the central message I want to leave to you is, you could explore. Zen is great. Zen is no doubt tremendous, The way they teach is just 1,000 times more effective than Shin Buddhism. But that doesn't mean they're deeper. So I have to end with this, it gets too long. And I'm going to cover this in detail in the afternoon seminar. But I'll say this, going to Zen, one thing Zen is very, very honest and direct. The founder of Zen Buddhism, Bodhidharma, says this in one of his writings. If you come into Zen, the chances are, without a great teacher, of you attaining satori or resolution to your life is 1 in a million. He's correct. He didn't fake it. If you have a great teacher, Dogen, great Zen master, said, your odds of attaining satori enlightenment is 1 in 1,000. And there aren't that many great teachers, so it's 1 in 100,000. In other words, very, very difficult. Most monks 30, 40 years ago, at the age of 35, most Zen monks at the age of 35, 40 years ago or so, had false teeth at 35. Why is that, everybody? Why do Zen monks at 35 have false teeth? Can anyone guess? Yeah.
They didn't have toothbrushes.
Chances are you're correct. That's part of the truth. That's all right. Let them talk. The mother is smothering her own son for the sake of the public good. No. That's part of the truth, because you only get maybe 1 minute to clean your teeth. The person who hosted me is sitting right there, so I have to say something to him. I thought to myself, I forgot to tell him that I did something that you shouldn't do. I got up this morning, everything is fine. Then I don't have a toothbrush. I said, again I forgot something. So I don't do this usually, by open one drawer and there was a toothbrush. So I have to tell him that I used his toothbrush. Not his toothbrush, a new toothbrush. Yeah. So I better phone them and tell them I used one of their toothbrushes. No, the reason Zen monks are toothless at 35 is, you should read their diet. No nutrition. You know what their diet is like? 3 times a day, you get a bowl of what kind of soup? Miso soup. Rice and otsukemono. You know the jar where you open it and all your Haokujin friends run away? It smells so badly. a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of, but there's no meat, no fish. That diet is so poor. They get berry. You know what I mean? That's how rough Zen training is, okay? Very difficult. What about psychoanalysis? You going to psychoanalysis? I'm cutting down other ways so you won't stray. You know what Freud says? Freud is the founder of psychoanalysis. Great genius. No matter how many psychologists come around, or shall I say, emerge, Freud is a great genius, no doubt about it. Freud said this: if you come to psychoanalysis, the most you could hope for is, are you listening? The most you could hope for is a change from hysterical misery, that means neuroticism, hysterical misery or excessive misery, to ordinary unhappiness. But we're already unhappy. Why go to psychoanalysis? Then what about philosophy? Philosophy is brilliant, by the way, everybody. They're geniuses. They're brilliant. One of the most brilliant is Hegel. You know what Hegel said? Nobody understood my philosophy. It's so difficult. One man only understood it. And he misunderstood it. So what chance do you have? So I'm trying to cut it down so you save your time. Then you think, okay, I'm just going to give him, just eat good things, good food, good music, good cruises. But you're 75 years old. Does that solve anything? So you have to think very carefully. Then you say, okay, all right, since Shin Buddhism came to me through my heritage, karmic heritage, I'll make full use of it. And if it doesn't work, go somewhere else. You have no time. Okay? All right, there's a lot of things I want to say. I'm going to leave it unsaid because it's already 10 to 11. I think that's the right time. Okay? So that's my sermon. And I think I'm going to be talking to the Japanese congregation. And also there's a brief seminar. I'll go into this in detail. Repeat some things. So if you're free, why don't you come? All right?